would you rather? Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Whoa. I'm going to go with Anthony Davis, to be honest, in a landslide.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we'll just move on. It's pretty easy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One has a chip, one doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
Anthony Davis or Luka Doncic?
Luka Doncic.
Wow.
I know I just said that one has a chip and one doesn't, but I can't look past the potential of Luka Doncic. I can't do it. If you said tomorrow that the league's restarting and the first overall pick is mine, I'm taking Luka Doncic. I'm not even looking at the rest of the league. I'm going Luka.
I think the majority would agree with you, but I would still take Anthony Davis because
Fair.
he has a chip and
That's
he's
fair.
a dominant player.
That one's much closer than Giannis and Anthony.
I agree with that.
We're going to upset a lot of people with that one.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So, next one.
Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball?
Lonzo Ball. I think he's more seasoned.
No.
I like his talent. They're so similar, man. But LaMelo's too young for me to pick him over Lonzo now.
I can see LaMelo coming in and at worst being Lonzo now. Like at worst being now Lonzo. Like his ceiling's way higher. I'd take
kind of
Melo.
like that take actually.
My eyes closed. I'd take Melo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would take Lonzo, but not necessarily eyes closed.
Yeah. Well, LaMelo's also 6'8". Lonzo's 6'6". That's another height advantage.
There,
and defensively, he's actually really good already, Melo. So
is he?
He has lapses, but yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Because I think Lonzo is a phenomenal defensive
We'll get
player.
into Melo after the season starts because I think once people see him play in proper season, there'll be a lot more to talk about with Melo.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Next one, Bradley Beal or Devin Booker?
Devin Booker. Not even close.
I'm going to pick Bradley Beal for sure.
Wow.
I've been a Bradley Beal fan since the draft in 2012, and I love his game. Now, both of them, you could argue, have not translated to W's, and that's always the argument against Booker is he's empty stats. But I don't agree with that stuff.
He's been on a bad roster.
He's been on a horrible organization, man.
And he still managed to turn himself into one of the NBA's best scorers, comfortably, just scores on everyone. So, I'd take Devin Booker only because I don't think we've seen the best version of Devin Booker, whereas Bradley Beal has already hit his peak.
He's hit his peak?
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Okay, hot take.
That's my hot take.
He's 27 years old, so I don't know about that, but he could be... Well, he averaged 30 a game last year. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, we've seen what Bradley Beal can do with the keys. You know, like that was last year with no John Wall, the year before with no John Wall. So,
I mean, he had Davis Bertans and a bunch of other pieces last year. Yeah. I'd like to see him with a better roster.
I get it. I just think Devin Booker's the better player.
Okay, we'll move on.
Nikola Jokic or Kawhi Leonard?
Wow, that's actually tough.
That is tough.
I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic.
I like it. I agree.
And I love Kawhi.
I love Kawhi
too. Love Kawhi Leonard.
I love Kawhi.
Not even because of what he did with the Raptors.
Kawhi has a ring too, so that is a tough call. He has two Finals MVPs.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I would take Jokic, man.
Yeah.
Jokic
I love Jokic. I'd take if I'm thinking about this like a fantasy draft situation, and who would I take first? It would be Jokic, and I'm sorry Kawhi because Kawhi's a franchise player. But so is Jokic, and I think we're yet to see the best of Jokic. So he's only 25.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up looking at it like a fantasy draft. You could look at it this multiple ways, like literally being a GM and building with real players, or in 2K. In 2K, I'd probably take Kawhi.
Yeah.
As a perimeter guy.
Yeah.
But in real life, I'm taking Jokic.
Yeah.
Next,
I'm looking at a real life fantasy draft. If every player was available for me to take. It'd be Jokic before Kawhi, only because of that. Like, man, what's he going to be? Like, he's already a superstar. What's next?
He hasn't hit his peak yet.
Nah, he hasn't.
All right, next would be Pascal Siakam or Brandon Ingram.
This one's actually really difficult.
It is.
I think people would instantly say Brandon Ingram. I don't know what other people think, but I think I'd take Spicy P.
I'd taken Spicy P as well.
I'd take Spicy P.
I like Brandon Ingram. I think he got paid handsomely, as did Pascal Siakam last year. But I would take Siakam for the defense.
Yeah.
I would take Siakam for defensively, he's a terror.
Yeah.
Maybe just not necessarily in the Raptors scheme because they like to play him sort of as a free safety.
He plays really hard too. Like I love that kind of physical.
And he wants to get better every year.
Yeah.
He shows a lot of feistiness and a lot of effort in his game.
Yep.
So that's good to see. We agree on Siakam. Okay, moving on.
Jamal Murray or Paul George? Contracts aside.
We kind of smoked Paul George last week, so I'm going to stick with that and go with Jamal Murray, not just because of his bubble performance, but Jamal Murray is the guy I would pick over Paul George. And you don't agree?
I'm thinking about it. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think they'd fall in the same sort of spot, like for GMs. I think GMs would be like, oh, like they both have so many questions. And Paul George could be a really bad roster fit on most rosters, especially with the way he bloody threw the coach under the bus last year. And he was a mess.
I'm just over Paul George.
Yeah, for that reason, I'd take Jamal. For that reason, only because of his, the issues we saw with LA last year.
Yeah, and just, he has a tendency to melt down a little bit. Okay, Brad Stevens, head coach of the Boston Celtics, or Nick Nurse, head coach of the Toronto Raptors?
Nick Nurse.
Agreed. Say no more.
Not even close.
Okay.
Not even close.
I'm going to take my fist bump back because I didn't realize you were going to say that.
Brad Stevens is very highly regarded.
Yes.
Without doing much in his NBA career.
Okay. Interesting take.
Like he's done. Look, it's very difficult for me to explain in such a short amount of time.
Fair.
But his playoff performances have been underwhelming as a head coach.
Okay.
Underwhelming.
Yep.
They should have beat Miami. They have better players than Miami. They should have beat Miami. And he was out-coached. He was out-coached by Nick Nurse the year before. That's kind of where I see him sitting.
Okay. I'm a big Brad Stevens fan, especially, just in particular, his after timeout plays are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Nick Nurse is also good at those, and he also has a chip, and he's a outstanding coach. I think Nick Nurse runs a lot of defenses that flummox the other team, and that's where I give him an advantage. He's a phenomenal coach.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we'll move on. Nick Nurse or Erik Spoelstra?
Oh, Spoelstra. 100%.
That wasn't predictable at all. The Miami Heat fan. Before
Spoelstra's,
I finish the sentence, says Erik Spoelstra.
Erik Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA.
Wow. Okay.
Easily.
It's hard to argue.
Easily.
He's very consistent.
And he comes up with new things every year. That's the best thing about Spoelstra is you don't know what kind of offense you're going to get out of Erik Spoelstra. That's
very true, actually. I actually wanted to bring up he's never had less than 37 wins in a season.
It's unbelievable.
So you got to give him credit.
Yeah.
It's due. I would take Nick Nurse because I trust his way to adapt. Now Spoelstra can adapt as well. I'm not taking that away, but I have a slight more of an affinity for Nick Nurse.
Of course you do, man. Like,
we're just gonna have to
Toronto
disagree
fan.
here.
Like, what are we gonna argue about? Like,
we're gonna have to.
I like
disagree
Miami
here.
more, so look, if it was my organization, the first guy I would go after with the bank would be Erik Spoelstra.
Okay.
He's never going to leave Miami. He's a lifer there.
No doubt.
But he's won 3 chips. If you count him being an assistant with Pat Riley.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So he's done a lot in his career, and he did a lot with Miami last year, coaching wise, that a lot of the NBA weren't doing. And even more so, I think fans last year fell in love with Erik Spoelstra even more.
I think one thing we can agree on is that they both, Nick Nurse and Erik Spoelstra, know how to maximize their roster.
Yeah,
so we got to give them a lot of credit for that.
I love that.
Yeah.
They can just use any guy, plug them in, and they're not going to miss a step.
Okay, so nobody won there. So we will have to,
Are you taking Jim Boylen over either of those guys?
Yes. Jim Boylen is the GOAT.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
I'm going to blow a fuse. My eye's twitching and I can't stop it.
Got Forrest Whitaker over here.
Please.
Steph Curry or Damian Lillard? This is a good one.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, I agree.
Steph Curry. Winnability.
It's kind of easy.
Winning games.
Now, Lillard is like an incredible player.
Yeah.
Goes without
saying. That takes
saying.
nothing off Lillard. Lillard's one of my favorite players to watch. I love Damian Lillard.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, Steph Curry's won more chips.
Steph Curry is a Hall of Famer without a doubt. So is Lillard.
Yeah.
But Curry is the only player in NBA history to win a unanimous MVP award.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And the stats back him up as well.
100%. All right. Karl-Anthony Towns or Kristaps Porzingis?
This is actually a really hard one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Karl-Anthony Towns.
Injuries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Karl-Anthony Towns is a bit younger.
That was the only thing that when I because I wrote that one down. The only reason I would take the other Kristaps is if he wasn't injured. If he wasn't injured, I'd take Kristaps, like, hands down.
Okay. So, Karl-Anthony, they're the same age. I thought Karl-Anthony Towns was younger. But they were drafted the same year, so that makes total sense. Yeah, I would take Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he's more versatile. I think he's a better shooter. I think he led the league in threes as a big guy last year.
Yeah.
Like over a certain height.
Yeah, by far. I think
he was firing away.
Yeah, he was averaging
ultra green light.
5 or 6 attempts a game or something. It was crazy. Ridiculous.
Actually, like, again, you can stat check if you want. I think he averaged more than that. Like, he was firing away.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think we can both agree on Towns. Jayson Tatum or Bam Adebayo?
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree, man.
Yeah, I knew you would. That's okay. That's fine.
Jayson Tatum is going to be an MVP candidate this year.
Yeah.
I mean, so could Adebayo.
I think Bam could be too. The only thing with Bam, where I'd take Jayson Tatum before him, would be the shooting from outside.
Yeah.
That'd be it. But Bam Adebayo is better defensively. He is a better passer of the ball.
Okay.
Better at getting teammates open. He can set screens. He does all the dirty work while also being a star. That's why I take Bam first.
That's true. Now, I'm doing this from a totally unbiased perspective because Bam is one of my 5 favorite players in the
averaged
league.
This is going back to Karl-Anthony Towns. He averaged 8 attempts a game from
he's
3.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Back to Bam.
Yeah, that's all right. I think, Bam's one of my 5 favorite players in the league, but I would still take Tatum because of his point and his offensive creation.
Okay.
I think he's an outstanding, not a hot take at all. I think he's an outstanding talent, and he deserves every penny of the extension he got. So does Bam.
Yeah.
But I would take Tatum.
It's a tough one. That's a really, I think people would take Tatum for his ability to score, but I think you'd need to watch both players play, and Bam will do all the dirty work while also, putting up 20, 10, and 8. Like, he's a really tough player.
Yeah,
so anyway, all right. Zion Williamson or Aaron Gordon, only on dunks, because we all know who you'd take if it was players.
Yeah, neither. I would take, for dunks, man, that's actually hard.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought I knew an answer, and then it's just like my brain blocked it
from
coming out of my mouth.
Aaron Gordon.
I would take Aaron Gordon. Yeah.
I'd take Gordon.
I love Zion can smash like no one I've seen.
Yeah.
But I do like Aaron Gordon.
Pause, man. Pause. Smash like no one you've seen. Pause. Hey,
you gotta cut out some of the pauses, man.
Hey, yo.
You gotta cut back on the pauses.
So I'd take Aaron Gordon. He had one of the best dunks in dunk contest history.
He's pretty spectacular.
He sat down on top of the guy and threw it under his legs and over the head. Crazy
I think
dunk.
Was that the same dunk contest where Derek Jones won?
No.
Oh, that was against Levine where he did it. Okay.
Yes.
Zach LaVine or Aaron Gordon?
Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I'll take Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's dunks he is the.
That's incredible, and he's 6'5" too. That's the main difference between him and Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's 6'8",
6'9", 6'8".
Yeah,
I think Zach LaVine is one of the 3 best dunkers I've ever seen in the dunk contest, including Vince Carter, and probably Iguodala was okay.
Blake Griffin dunking over the car was pretty damn impressive.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, he jumped over the hood, but still,
can you jump over the wheel of a car?
I can try. I mean, we might put that as some footage extra content.
10-inch vert here.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? Who have we got? Duncan Robinson or Tyler Herro? Ooh, the white shooters.
Man, isn't that a good one?
That is a good one.
I'm gonna take Tyler Herro because I like his versatility. I think he has a higher ceiling than Duncan Robinson.
You're right. I'd take Tyler too.
I don't want to pigeonhole Robinson as just a shooter from here on out because that's not fair to anybody really.
Yeah.
But it feels like his career could go that way.
Yeah.
And in that regard, again, fantasy draft, I'm taking Tyler Herro.
Yeah, I agree. In a fantasy draft situation, I'd say Tyler Herro. Age, ability on ball, that's probably, the main 2 points.
Okay. Now, we still love Duncan Robinson. I want to ask you, Duncan Robinson or Michael Jordan?
In today's NBA? Duncan Robinson. Yeah.
Fair.
By far. I'd probably take Duncan first.
In an all-time draft?
Yeah.
I mean, Josh, you would do that. Yeah.
With every player at their best, I would take Duncan Robinson first.
Peak LeBron, peak Duncan, or even just half Duncan.
Peak Duncan?
Peak
we
Duncan
haven't seen peak.
fair.
We haven't seen peak Duncan. Peak Duncan is on his way.
Can I ask you, Duncan Robinson or Tim Duncan?
Duncan Robinson.
Okay.
What kind of question is that?
One. If you're not going to take Jordan, you're not taking
Wow.
Tim Duncan. All right. LaMarcus Aldridge or Tobias Harris?
Oh, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Leadership, ability on court. He's a better mid-range shooter.
Knockdown.
Absolute lights out mid-range shooter. He's actually a better 3-point shooter than Tobias Harris.
Wow.
I should fact check it, but I believe that he has a 44% 3-point shot or something crazy.
We're
which surprised
probably
me.
making that up, but we'll see.
I probably am actually. It was something ridiculous.
44%?
Yeah, I think so. It would surprise me. Because he doesn't take many. It was like
For his career, he's a 31.
Yeah.
Last year, he shot 39%, rounding up.
40. Let's say 40.
Yeah, all right.
Let's round all the way up so I don't sound as ridiculous.
4-0.
Whereas, so last season, Tobias Harris shot 36.7%.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so
All right.
he is a better 3-point shooter, so don't question me ever again. But he also attempted 5 3-point shots per game, which is a lot. That's
I'd
Tobias
say it's
Harris.
a fair amount. Yeah.
That's a lot. So yeah, I would take LaMarcus Aldridge. Yep,
Fair enough.
definitely. Would you take Donovan Mitchell or Jamal Murray?
Man, these are all really good. I would take Donovan Mitchell. I like his consistency a lot more at this stage.
Mhm.
Now, this could age poorly because Jamal Murray could rise higher than Donovan Mitchell in terms of reaching your potential, but they both have such high ceilings. At this stage, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell because he's got his performance, first of all, in his rookie season against OKC. He went toe-to-toe with Jamal Murray last season, and I think the fact that he was able to plug in and take over basically from Gordon Hayward and keep Utah relevant is pretty spectacular. Now, Rudy Gobert has a place in that argument as well, but I think what he's done is really special.
That's incredible. It really is. I would take I'd take Donovan.
Okay.
It's I like Jamal, but yeah, Donovan Mitchell, what he's been able to do on that roster with, when they just gave up on everything and we're like, okay, we're restarting, and he was like, nope, we're not going backwards. I really like him. I think that's probably one of the better draft choices in Utah's history.
Definitely. Maybe the best. If
Absolute
not,
sleeper. Like, he really
yeah.
just set the world on fire. He was excellent.
Next up, Brook Lopez or Miles Turner.
Miles Turner.
That easy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to disagree. I think Brook Lopez's defensive impact is far superior to Turner.
Yeah, Miles Turner averaged more blocks. He was second in the league last season, only behind Hassan Whiteside.
That's fair.
And we all know how Hassan Whiteside defends.
Yeah, if we're using Hassan Whiteside as the benchmark, I think that can get picked apart easily. The stat I would use would be Brook Lopez led the league in contested shots last year. Now, that doesn't include blocks necessarily.
Yeah.
That just includes anything that comes to the rim, anything that he defends, really. And he was the runaway leader.
Well, he still had 2.4 blocks per game.
There you go.
His plus-minus advanced statistics, he was actually really good defensively. Offensively, I think he kind of fell off a little bit last season.
Tiny bit.
He wasn't shooting as much. Definitely wasn't shooting as much last season as he was the year before. But yeah, I'd just take Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner has a better ceiling if he can find the right situation. He's kind of struggled a little bit when Domantas Sabonis is on the court.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know where he fits
Doesn't
in.
fit.
So yeah, when he finds the right situation, I think we'll see the real Miles Turner. So
Fair.
I'd take him just to see that. John Wall or Russell Westbrook?
I like Russell Westbrook a lot. I'm going to take Westbrook. I was about to say John Wall, but I'll take Westbrook over Wall in most cases. We've talked about how the Rockets would be a better fit with John Wall and Harden.
Yeah.
But I would take Westbrook over Wall.
Yeah, if you had to pick one or the other, it'd be Westbrook.
Yeah, not even a statistical thing. Like, if I'm just going to have a guy on my franchise, I like Westbrook more.
Yeah.
Intensity.
Agreed. Yeah.
Passion.
100%.
Athleticism.
I'm on board with that 100%.
Sweet. All right. James Harden or Chris Paul?
Chris Paul.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
No thoughts?
Nah,
Okay.
I enjoy watching Chris Paul, and how he carries his team to wins. Haven't seen that from James Harden. So, yeah.
Okay, fair. I would take Chris Paul as well, but not by that much of a landslide from the sounds of it.
Okay.
I like Chris Paul a lot.
Yeah.
One of my 5 favorite players ever.
Yeah.
But James Harden is hard to not pick because of his offensive wizardry.
Well, 36 points per game. You know, like, yeah. You
After winning MVP, he improved to that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It is unbelievable.
Basically, that season, if you want to jump back to that, he was the reason the Rockets made the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
I can say that, and that's where it's tough to say that, you know, one carries a franchise and one doesn't. But, you know, you watch Chris Paul play last year with OKC and the pieces that he had around him, and all of them improved. That's really hard to do, getting a big piece on your franchise like that.
Yeah.
And making everyone around them better. That's why I'd take Chris Paul.
I think, to that point, Chris Paul didn't really make a fuss of it. He came in, he was a professional.
Yeah.
And I think it's paid off because it's funny, his stock dropped off at the end of that season with Houston. And then he was traded for Westbrook, and everyone had questions. Is he too old? All this other stuff. And then his stock rose back up with the way he performed in OKC.
Yep.
So it really all worked out for the best. Now he's in Phoenix. I think he's going to do his thing.
Yep.
Next.
Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid?
Man. I'm going to take Ben Simmons. I'm on record saying this, I believe. I think Ben Simmons is the guy you want on your franchise based on a few different factors.
Yep.
Who would you pick?
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I think we both really like Ben because of his versatility. He can play 5 positions in today's NBA.
Yeah.
He plays with a lot more intensity on both ends.
Yep.
He regularly leads the league in loose balls, deflections.
He doesn't take bad shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. He doesn't take bad shots almost ever.
Yeah.
Like if he does,
he's like 70% from the field.
He corrects himself
60% from the field
pretty quickly.
He's very, very consistent. Contributes on every end of the floor. Assists, gets guys open.
Yeah.
Gets
No doubt.
rebounds. He doesn't stop. He just has he can run
Great
for
motor.
days.
Exactly.
There's nothing else you can say. He's like 56% shooter.
It's pretty good.
He was 58 last year, so his shooting splits have gone up. I would just like to see a little bit more point production. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about a guy that's averaging, 16, 8, and 8? Like,
I think what's pretty amazing about Ben Simmons is his career stats, his averages have not really changed much, but he's been the same since the rookie season. Like he came in the league and averaged 16, 8, and 8, just out of the box. Just that easy. He had 1.7 steals. Last year, he led the league with 2.1.
And since then, he's been 16, 8, and 8.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's very consistent. Now, again, to your point, I'd like to see an improvement of the scoring. We'll see what happens this year.
Yep. With
a revamped coaching staff, and obviously they've added more shooting around him. So
want to see him stay healthy. I do want to, know that he's the long-term option in Philadelphia, but I think he's a better option than Embiid.
Yeah, I agree. Last one. Jimmy Butler or Karl-Anthony Towns?
I think we all know the answer to this one. It's going to be Jimmy Butler. Has to be Jimmy Butler.
I mean, yeah. He proved he was a superstar in the finals. I honestly had questions up until that point if he was worth the max contract. I don't anymore. But I'm going to take Karl-Anthony Towns just to piss you off.